This week, I'm going to lead you through a practice for after work. It's quite gentle and slow practice to get your hips, your spine, your shoulders gently moving. And the pace is slow in case you are maybe feeling a bit tired or sluggish after work. Let's get started. For this week's practice, a couple of blocks would be really handy, or one bolster. And if you don't have blocks or bolsters, you could use big cushions, or you could stack a few books to make something that resembles a yoga block. Just maybe something to place under the hands, under the pelvis as we go through the practice. If you don't have any props, that's not a problem. You can still join in the practice. Then, when you have everything ready, we are going to start from child's pose. And in this child's pose, if you have blocks or cushions, a bolster, you could bring something under your hands, under your elbows in this first child's pose. So leaning your pelvis down and back, legs could be also wider apart. And then if you want, you can elevate your hands, elbows off the mat, and that might give you a slightly bigger opening across the shoulders and chest. We try to still lean head down, either onto the mat, or if you have an extra prop that you want to place under the head, you can also use something extra to support the head, to support the neck. And we'll take a few breaths here. Just allowing the shoulders to slowly sink into the pose. Trying to also soften the hips, the lower back. And checking in with a breath. Take another 3 slightly slower breaths in and out. And then after your breaths, with your next few breaths, just slowly start to bring your back up. You can leave your blocks where they are and bring yourself up into a seat. We're going to now bring arms behind the back, interlock fingers, and then with the next in-breath, open the chest. You could look up like here as well. Let the shoulders sink into the pose. Let your shoulders now sink away from the ears. You don't need to lift your hands high up, but just let the hands and arms sink down towards the mat. Allowing an opening across the chest. Take another breath in and out. And then slowly release the arms. You could roll the shoulders. I'm just going to turn slightly sideways so you see what's going to happen next. We're going to play with a few side bends. Now first, drop your hips to your right side. Step left hand onto your left side. And then reach the right arm up. Inhale to open the right side. And exhale, lean a bit further into that side bend. Then with the next in-breath, we'll come back up to center. Bring right hand down, left arm up. And then lean pelvis to left. And here again, inhale to open the left side. Exhale, you could sink a bit further into that side bend. The mermaid pose. Let's do once more both sides. So inhale, lift yourself up, change arms the other way around, and then drop your right hip down. Another in-breath to open the right side, and exhale, lean to left. You could look down if that releases the neck more. Inhale again, lift yourself up, and once more, change arms, bring left hip down, right hand to the mat, and then inhale and exhale, opening the left side body. Keeping tops of the shoulders soft. And then inhale, lift yourself back up and release the arms down. Again, you could roll the shoulders. Then bring yourself onto hands and knees. And now we're going to step the right foot forward and bring your right foot a bit further out to the side of the mat. And here you could bring blocks under your hands to give you a bit more space, or you could bring your hands all the way down onto the mat. Now we start to circle the pelvis. So the weight is moving from left knee to right foot, and the hands and arms support the movement. Trying to create a circle with the pelvis, allowing both hip joints to circle. You can bend and straighten the front leg. Let's change direction. Inhale and exhale together with that movement. And it could be a small movement, could be a bigger movement, but just trying to bring gentle movement to that pelvic area. Let's do one more circle. And then from that last circle, extend your right leg. Again, hands could be on blocks or hands on the mat. Now lean slightly forward to find a gentle stretch at the back of that right leg. You could turn the right foot toes up towards the ceiling. You could allow your head, your neck to lean down as well. Breathe in and out. Let the exhalation release you just a bit further into the forward bend. And then with the next in-breath, lift your back up and shift the weight onto that right foot. Now you can put your blocks aside. We're going to inhale, lift the back up, reach arms up, open the chest, and then exhale, cactus the arms. So now opening the chest, gently reaching the elbows away from each other. Pelvis could come down and forward if that feels okay, or you can stay higher up with the pelvis. Maybe even looking slightly higher up. Take another breath in and out. And then we're going to cross the arms into eagle. Bring your right elbow on top of the left and either reach hands for the opposite shoulder or cross twist the forearms. Here, bring your pelvis a bit higher up. And then just tiny bit bring your chin towards the chest, keeping those eagle arms going. Depending on your shoulders, your upper back, you might either drop your elbows towards the chest, rounding the upper back, or you can keep lifting the elbows to shoulder height. Allow your chin to come down towards the chest. Breathe towards that space between the shoulder blades. Take another breath in and out. And then we're going to exhale, release the arms. Bring hands back onto the mat. And from here, we're going to now bring the right leg out to our right side. Again, I'll turn just a bit sideways so you can see. Right leg on the right side. We're going to go into thread the needle twist. Leave your right hand on the mat. And then inhale, twist out to the left. Left arm reaching up. Exhale, slide your left arm under the right arm. Lean the left shoulder. Lean your head to the mat. And here, if you want, you could reach right arm up to the ceiling. You could keep the right hand on the mat or bring right arm behind the back, and that might give you a bit more space to twist, open your chest out to the side. Leave space for the breaths and make sure you're not collapsing onto your neck. So a slight activation through the neck. Take another breath in and out. And then slowly release your right hand onto the mat. And as you inhale, just bring yourself back onto two hands. So we still have that right leg out on the side. I'm just going to turn again sideways so you can see. Now bring that same right leg behind you and then cross the right foot over to the left side of the mat. We're going to slightly turn our gaze towards the right foot behind us. So looking for a side bend. You could imagine you're trying to reach that right heel away from the right armpit. Opening the right side body. Take another breath in and out. And then release your head, your neck, still keeping that left leg crossed. We're going to now bend the right knee so that your knees are crossed, and then walk into a seat. Walk your hands towards the pelvis. You find yourself in the shoelace pose. If shoelace doesn't feel good, you can always use a cross-legged seat so that your left leg is crossed in front of the right. Either way, we're going to go into a forward bend. So first inhale to lengthen up. Exhale, lean down and forward into a forward bend. You can walk hands a bit further forward. If it feels okay, let your neck, your head drop down. Allow your heavy pelvis to sink down. You don't need to press it down. It might come slightly off the mat, but just try to feel that heaviness, that weight of your pelvis. Take another breath in and out. Let the back of the neck, the base of the skull to soften. And then as you inhale, slowly bring yourself back up. And from here, shift yourself forward and come back onto all fours. Uncross your legs and come back to that seat we had in the beginning. Now we're going to step hands behind the pelvis, either whole palm on the mat or just fingertips on the mat. And we're going to open the chest, lift the chest bone up. You can stay here, or inhale, lift your pelvis higher up into a baby camel pose. And keep opening across the chest. If your knees feel tender, slightly press your toes, the front of the toes onto the mat. Take another breath in and out. And then slowly release your pelvis down if you have it lifted. And bring your spine back to neutral. Bring your hands onto your knees. And now we start to circle the chest. So the chest coming forward as you breathe in, and then rounding the upper back as you breathe out. Circling, so we're going out to the sides as well. It's like a disco cat, but in a seat. And you can let your pelvis move. And we'll change the direction. We'll go a few times the other way around. Again, inhaling as you open the chest. Exhale as you round your back, and let your neck, your head move as well. The hands supporting. Take another round, breathing in, breathing out, and then bring yourself back to center. Now we're going to come back onto hands and knees, and then we're going to step the left foot forward. Again, you could bring blocks under your hands as we start to circle the pelvis. You can choose which direction you move into first. But again, start to find that circling movement through your hips, the pelvis. And your upper back can resonate with that movement happening lower down. So don't feel like you need to block your upper body. You can let your neck, your head circle or move as well. And then let's change the direction. And you can actively use that left foot to also guide the movement, to guide your left hip especially. And keep breathing together with the movement. It's again easy to stop the breath if we're really focused on the movement. Let's do one more circle. And then from that last circle, leave your left leg extended. And again, hands could be on the blocks or hands could be on the mat. Slowly, as you exhale, start to lean down and forward. So on this side, looking for some opening at the back of that left leg. If you want, you could actively turn the left foot toes up towards the ceiling. And with each exhalation, again, see if you could soften a bit further down. Softening the neck, heavy head dropping down. Take one more breath in and out here. And then as you inhale, lift your back up and shift the weight onto that left foot, going for that low lunge. Again, you could put the block aside. And then when you have that left foot down, inhale, lift the back up, open the chest. This time, bring arms behind the back, and now either hold the opposite elbow behind the back or interlock fingers and then open the chest. Imagine you're trying to lift your chest bone up, shoulders dropping down. And again, you can lean the pelvis down and forward, or you could stay higher up if that feels better. See what works for you right now. And just let yourself breathe. The second side might feel different. That's very, very fine. Be kind to yourself. Take another breath in and out. And then exhale, release the arms. We're going to find the eagle arm. So now cross your left elbow on top of the right. And then you can either twist the forearms or reach for the opposite shoulder. And then bring the pelvis a bit higher up. So you're actively pressing down through that left foot. And then exhale, drop your chin towards the chest. You might even slightly tuck the tailbone under, but see how that feels. If it hurts in the knees, for example, then don't do it. Again, you have the option to bring elbows down towards the chest or lift the elbows to shoulder height. And breathe in and out. The tops of the shoulders drop away from the ears. We'll take another breath here, in and out. And then exhale, release the arms, open the chest, and bring hands back onto the mat. Now we're going to bring the left leg out to the left side of the mat for that thread the needle. You can adjust where you are. Leave your left hand down, and then inhale, twist out to the right, reaching the right arm up, and exhale, slide your right arm under the left arm. And then you could lean your right shoulder, lean your head down. Again, you can keep your left hand on the mat, or you can reach left arm up, or bring left arm behind the back. Again, that might help to open the chest. You might even reach your left hand fingers around the right thigh, if that is a good option for you now. Breathing here again, making sure you're not pushing the pose so far that you can't breathe. So breath, always leave space for the breath. We'll take another one in and out. And then slowly bring your left hand back onto the mat and lift yourself onto two hands. Now we're going to bring that left leg behind us. Stay on the right knee and then step the left foot to the right side of the mat. And again, we start to find that side bend. You could peek over the right shoulder towards the left foot. Send the left heel away from the left armpit. If you notice that you're tensing your neck too much, then just maybe turn your gaze down towards the mat. But we're looking for that side bend along the left side body. Take another breath in and out. And then slowly release your shoulders, your neck, your head away from that side bend. Now bend your left knee so that your left knee goes behind the right knee. You could open feet a bit wider apart and then walk hands towards the legs, finding that shoelace, or have your right leg on top of your left in a cross-legged seat, whatever feels again manageable for you. And then slowly exhale, lean down and forward into your forward bend. And you could step hands further forward. You could allow your neck, your head to lean down. And send your breath towards your upper back, towards the back of the ribs, all the way down towards the lower back. Take one more breath in and out. And then with your next breath, slowly bring your back up, open the chest, and again shift the weight forward so that you could now bring your legs, uncross the legs onto all fours. We're going to lift into a downward dog. So tuck the toes under, and here extend your legs. You could walk from one foot to the other a few times, pedaling from one foot, from one ankle to the other, opening the calves. Head can drop down, and just take a few breaths here. You could find some stillness, or you could keep moving. Pelvis can rock from side to side. Head can turn from side to side. And then with your next few breaths, we're going to slowly come down onto hands and knees. Then lean onto your pelvis. So you bring yourself into a seat. And now if you have some props there, just bring your blocks or pillows, bolsters next to you and bring yourself to lie down on the back. Do a few windshield wipers here, just swinging the legs from side to side. And then as our final pose, we could go into the supported bridge. But you can also choose to do an active bridge. If you don't have props, or if you just want to be more active now, you can choose. Either way, bring your feet onto the mat, roughly hip width apart, arms down next to your sides. Inhale. And then as you exhale, elevate your pelvis, your back off the mat. And you can stay in an active bridge if you want. Or bring a prop, whether it's a block or bolster, pillow under the pelvis, and then you can lean your pelvis onto that support. You could bring arms overhead along the mat, along the floor. If you are using a prop under pelvis, you might even extend your legs. Wherever you are, be mindful of your back. Make sure you still have space to breathe. And take a few more breaths in and out. And then if you have legs extended, slowly bend your knees again. If you have arms overhead, just slide your arms down. And from supported bridge, first elevate your pelvis up so you can pull the prop, whatever prop you have, aside, and then we'll release the pelvis, we'll release the back onto the mat. And again, there could be a bit of swinging, rocking from side to side. And then we'll find our resting pose. If you feel that you want to hug the knees in before finding that resting pose, feel free to do that. And your resting pose could be Shavasana pose on your back. You could lie down on your belly, or You could lie down on one side, wherever you can find a moment, an easy pose, to take a moment for yourself to rest, to check in how you're feeling now. Allow your shoulders to soften. Allow your belly to soften. Allow your hips to soften. Allow even your hands, your feet to soften, and just notice that natural flow of your breath. No effort needed here. Allow a few more exhalations to soften tension. And if you then feel that after those few breaths you would like to stay longer, you would like to take a longer Shavasana pose, you'd be more than welcome to stay here. Continue your resting pose. If you feel that now would be a good time for you to close your practice, from your back or from your resting pose, roll down onto one side. Could be the left or the right side. And then bring yourself up into a seat. So like I said, you might extend your Shavasana pose. If you are closing the practice, you could bring palms together in front of the chest. And as always, at the end of the practice, most importantly, thank yourself for bringing yourself into your practice, for taking a moment to look after yourself today. And I thank you very much for joining in. Namaste. Thank you.